Hi, I'm Captain Monte with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report. This week we still been starting off over here by the Fena docks on these pilings and these rock piles all run down this shoreline. We still been catching plenty of sheephead through here. The big ones haven't showed up quite yet, but we've been catching them ones that are 15 to 16, 17 inches. So sheephead are still out here on the sides. All along them pilings and them rock piles. If you don't get them out there, we've been coming out here in the front and working these docks and these rock piles through here. Just been kind of using a 1/8 ounce weight right on top of the hook. Been catching sheephead through here. First thing in the morning, been catching slot reds. Been a few bull reds being caught through here. So still good fish through all out in front of Fena docks. We've also been catching a few keeper trout through here. So still good fish all through there. Right now, them sheephead, they've been hanging around all these docks and pilings, even on the other side over here by these houses. You cannot tie up to the house, to the piers, but you can use your trolling motor or your anchor to get you in place. But all this back behind this house, all the way down Charlie's pasture. These rock piles all down Charlie's pasture have been holding sheephead through here. I've also been finding a few redfish and speckled trout, especially where these coves come in to these little back lakes. Have been holding fish down here by this rock pile before you get to Port of Mustang. These rocks through here, especially on the north wind, been catching pretty good trout through here. Even though that dredge has got that water murked up, the fish have been holding there. So live shrimp's been the ticket on pretty much everything right now. Out here in front of Pelican, these rock piles through here been holding sheephead and a few slot reds through here. Just watch out when you're working this side of the channels, because in big ships, they do make a big wake. So if you see them big ships coming, you might want to pull out in deeper water and then wait till they go by. There's some scattered rocks out here in Pelican too, about 5 to 7 foot. Get off that shoreline a little bit, put your depth finder on, you'll see these rock piles out here. I like using a popping cork with live shrimp or even your favorite plastic through here and just working these rock piles through here, especially on the north wind, light north wind. We've been catching good trout through there. You can also come on the back side of Pelican. There's a few wells out here that have been holding sheephead, speckled trout. Been just kind of bouncing around these wells back here in the back of this back bay back here. If you don't get them there, those of you looking for the redfish, East Flats back here in these potholes, bigger live shrimp or your cut mullet or even your live mullet. Been holding redfish through here, all the way down to Flato, working all this shoreline, especially on a southeast wind. If it's light, it kind of puts you in that right position. Flato has been holding decent reds when that tide's been sucked out like it has last week. Them reds been staying right here on these shallow little coves back here. The black drum been using just dead shrimp. You can either use a popping cork or you can use just a lead head and start working these edges. And one minute you're catching black drum, next minute you're finding the redfish. So all around Flato right now, been holding good fish also. On those nice mornings, we've been running straight out to the end of the South Jetty and the North Jetty. Live shrimp seems to be the ticket. Been using in that 25 to 30 foot of water, using a 3 ounce weight with the number 3 kill hook and dropping live shrimp down. There have been plenty of bigger sheephead and slot reds out here. Been catching black drum. We've also been picking up a few pompano through here. If you get a free line shrimp or even a plastic under a popping cork and work these rock piles all down the edges on the outside of the jetties right now. Been catching sheephead, been catching slot reds. We've been catching good numbers of speckled trout. Speckled trout still 17 to 23 inches. You can't keep them if they're any bigger than that or any smaller. So make sure you're right on the bag limit. On the inside, working these rock piles coming through. Still been catching plenty of sheephead. If you work these docks out here by Channel View and down here by the university, there's still been black drum working through there. There've been sheephead. We've been catching slot reds through there. So all of this area around Port Aransas is still holding decent fish. If that tide is sucked out like it was last week, we've been coming over here and sitting on the outside of the lighthouse, or coming down into Big Slough and sitting on the outside of these oyster reefs. There've been slot reds through there. There've been a few black drum coming through there. So all this area all the way down to Quarantine. I know them black drum been holding alongside Quarantine and redfish. If you'll run through here real slow with your motor, you'll start seeing that dirtier water. That's either redfish or black drum that's working at bottom. So plenty of good fish out here on Quarantine, especially of those of you that like to wade fish. This is a good shoreline to wade, especially during this time of the season. Even down here, all the way down towards Trailer Island. All this area down here is trout on the outside. Popping corks with live shrimp or your favorite plastics. Been holding pretty good fish all the way down here. And it's all good shoreline to wade fish, especially on that northeast wind. If it's light, then take full advantage of it. Little trout bayou. If you get back here on these back little shallow flats back here, been good numbers of redfish through here. Working it with either cut mullet or live shrimp under a popping cork. And then you could actually leave there and just kind of drift across with popping corks and your favorite plastic all the way down to yucca cut or big cut. And if you don't get any trout through there or your redfish, then start working this deeper channel, especially if that tide's out. Been black drum hanging through here. There's been redfish. We've been also catching a few flounder through this deeper cut right on the edges, especially when that tide is really gone. If it's real cold out, them fish will drop off into California hole. Right now there's been trout hanging on through here. There's been redfish in this deeper hole. If you'll find the bait, you're going to find the fish. On those nice and calm mornings, we've been running out here to Corpus Bay. Some of my favorite places to fish are out here on these wells. You know, live shrimp. Give me a couple quarts of live shrimp. Get out here and just free line them live shrimp on a number 3 Kell hook and working these wells through here. I'll put my trolling motor down, put the fish finder on. Once I see the bulk of the fish, and I'll kind of work that school. If I don't find them all one well, then I'll jump over to another one. But if you'll see, some of these wells got rock piles that extend off of that gas well. If you'll find those and work them rock piles away from that well, a lot of times them fish will be stacked out here on these rocks. And we're talking black drum, sheephead, pompano, the trout. I know we've been catching oversized fish out here also, oversized reds. So all of these wells out here in Corpus Bay, when it's nice and calm, been holding fish this time of the year. They don't get beat up like they do everywhere else. So just pick your days when you're out here in Corpus Bay, because it does tend to get rough when the wind does pick up. Also coming over here to the L-head. Those of you without a boat, this is a good time of the year to be working these rock piles through here. Sheephead, trout, redfish, black drum. The black drum, I use dead shrimp with just a lead head. Or you could use even a popping cork, just a little treble hook and dead shrimp, and getting it up on them rocks. Seems like it does pretty good job working all down these rock piles, all the way down to the Lexington. So pick your days when you're out here in Corpus Bay. But if you get light winds, this is the place to come. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Monte.